Throughout history, great civilizations have been shaped by the actions of powerful leaders, many of whom were men. However, within predominantly patriarchal societies, there emerged women who not only achieved high levels of power and status but, in some cases, ruled with equal or even greater authority than their male counterparts. From the banks of the Nile in ancient Egypt to the imperial palaces of China, women such as Hatshepsut, Wu Zetian, and Cleopatra defied the norms of their time and left indelible marks on the politics, religion, and culture of their civilizations. Through their stories, we can understand that female leadership is not a modern phenomenon but rather a recurring, though rare, presence in the dynamics of human power. Throughout the millennia, certain exceptional women stood out among the most powerful figures of ancient history, leaving marks so profound that even modern archaeology can attest to their existence and legacy. But what distinguished these women from the rest? What was their mystery? Where did the power come from that allowed them to govern entire civilizations, often in male-dominated environments? First, these women not only possessed natural charisma and extraordinary political skills but also knew how to seize the unique opportunities of their time. Many of them were born into royal or priestly families, where education and access to power, though limited, were possible. From a young age, they received intense training in administration, religion, and diplomacy, allowing them to develop a strategic vision of the world around them. However, their power went beyond education. It was a combination of sharp intelligence, personal magnetism, resilience in the face of adversity, and a deep connection to the sacred and cultural symbols of their societies. Women like Hatshepsut, for example, not only ruled but presented themselves as living incarnations of the gods, legitimizing their authority among their people. Others, like Wu Zetian in China, masterfully used the imperial court structure to consolidate power, forging alliances, reforming laws, and controlling historical narratives. The mystery of their success lay in their ability to transform themselves into figures larger than life, blurring the lines between myth and reality. Through monuments, inscriptions, literary works, and official records, they shaped their images to endure through time. They did not merely rule, they reinvented what it meant to be a ruler. Thus, their power did not stem solely from their social position or lineage, but from a rare combination of vision, boldness, emotional intelligence, and a profound understanding of human nature and collective beliefs. It was this balance of strategy, intuition, and symbolism that enabled them to transcend their eras and become living legends, figures that archaeology and history still strive to fully comprehend. Buried for 5 millennia beneath what was once a forgotten coastal dump, the tomb of a powerful woman from Peru's ancient Caral civilization has resurfaced, and it is challenging long-held assumptions about who held power at the dawn of American civilization. This extraordinary discovery offers not only a glimpse into the past but also invites a broader reflection. Across different cultures, eras, and continents, women have repeatedly risen to hold power, prestige, and influence, often far beyond what traditional histories have acknowledged. This is an important burial because it has elements that correspond to a woman of high status, discovered at Espero, 112 miles north of Lima along Peru's Pacific coast. The site, once used as a municipal dump, has now revealed a story of deep cultural sophistication. The woman, estimated to have died between the ages of 20 and 35, was treated with extraordinary care. Her body still preserved traces of skin, hair, and fingernails, and she was covered in a mantle woven with vibrant blue and brown feathers, likely from Amazonian macaws. Surrounding her were baskets of offerings, ceremonial vases, gourds, and even a toucan's beak, clear symbols of reverence and high social standing. But this was more than a personal tribute. The burial hints at broader social values. Not only men had an important association in this civilization, but this was also complemented by that of women. This finding echoes patterns seen across ancient civilizations worldwide. In Egypt, Queen Hatshepsut ruled as a full pharaoh, commissioning massive monuments and establishing international trade. In China, Wu Zetian became the only woman to rule as emperor, reshaping the political landscape of the Tang dynasty. Among the Mayan cities, powerful queens like Lady Six Sky led their people through eras of prosperity and conflict. The Caral civilization, active around 3000 BC, while the Egyptian pyramids were being built and Mesopotamia was inventing writing, developed in isolation, without outside influence. This makes the discovery all the more remarkable. It suggests that societies around the world may have independently recognized the leadership capabilities of women, assigning them vital roles in shaping civilization's earliest foundations. The sight of a sparrow, once seen as nothing more than a municipal dump, now speaks volumes about a world richer and more complex than we had imagined. And it urges us to rethink the ancient past, not as a tale solely of male rulers and warriors, but as a more balanced story where women, too, stood at the center of power, prestige, and innovation. Today, the artifacts uncovered beside this young woman, her feathered mantle, her ceremonial offerings, stand as physical proof that one of the oldest cities in the Americas might have been, in many ways, more progressive than many societies even today. Throughout the centuries, we have heard of great empires, of men who conquered lands and kingdoms, but rarely have we been told the full story. The women who ruled, who fought, who built civilizations, were not mere peripheral figures. They were the ones who took control when the world tried to deny them their power. At a time when history seemed to be written only for men, they defied the rules, not just to survive, but to change fate. Why? What drove them to take political, economic, and military power into their hands? The answer perhaps lies not in one single word, but in a series of factors. The desire for power is not exclusive to any gender, but stems from the need to take control of life, prosperity, and justice. For these women, the struggle for power was not just an act of ambition, but a way to ensure the well-being of their people, their families, their cultures. In an age where the world was governed by rules set by men, these women not only challenged those norms but created new forms of power, based on their intelligence, their ability to lead, and in many cases, their skill in warfare. Was there something supernatural in them that made them stronger than men? Perhaps it wasn't supernatural in the literal sense. But in each of them, there was an inner strength that exceeded expectations. Something as profound as the belief that women not only could rule, but were the guardians of civilization itself. Perhaps it was this inner strength that made them better warriors than many men of their time. Because the struggle for power is not just physical, but mental and spiritual. The power of these women was not in the sword, but in their ability to connect with the energies of their people, to inspire their followers, and to outmaneuver their political opponents like no one else could. Today, we live in a world where women continue to fight for their place in power. The story of these queens, warriors, and leaders should not be seen as a tale lost in time, but as an echo of what is still happening today. They teach us that female power is not just a possibility, but a necessity. The women who today fight for equality, who take control in politics, economics, and technology, follow the legacy of those who came before them. They too understand that power is not a gift given, it is something that must be conquered with intelligence, sacrifice, and a deep understanding of what it truly means to be a leader. So, what was their true strength? It was not in their weapons or their riches, but in their ability to transform reality, to see beyond imposed limits and to build a future that benefited all, not just a few. The story of these women is not only a reminder of what was lost but an inspiration for what is yet to come.